Adrian Sutil, the F1 drama. Adrian Sutil can't get away with this one, and here's why. The world of F1 is usually very calm and uncontroversial, right? But there was one incident that really shocked the F1 community. Adrian Sutil, the well-known driver, was charged with physical assault and causing serious injuries. Let's dig into what happened. Now, before diving into the controversy directly, let's speak of his early life. Sutil was born on January 11, 1983 in Starnberg, West Germany. He got into karting at 14 and then moved up to Swiss Formula Ford 1800 in 2002. He had a fantastic start, winning all 10 rounds that season from pole position. He also scored 5 wins in the Formula Masters Austria Championship. When Sutil moved up to the Formula BMW ADAC Championship in 2003, he finished 6th overall but didn't manage to win any races. The next season, he moved to the Formula 3 Euroseries with Colin Kolles' team. Even though he only scored twice, his connection with Kolles would become important later on. He switched the ASM team for the final round of the season and stayed with them in 2005. That year, he was joined by Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton won more races than Sutil, but Sutil was Hamilton's main rival, finishing as the runner-up in the championship. They battled it out at the Marlboro Masters of Formula 3 at Zandvoort as well. His career continued blooming, not aware that he would soon become a criminal. In 2006, Sutil went to Japan and had a great season, winning the All-Japan Formula 3 Championship. He also did well, finishing 3rd in the Macau Formula 3 Grand Prix and even made a guest appearance in the Japanese Super GT Series. That same year, he got his break into Formula 1. Colin Kolles helped him land a spot as a test driver for the new Midland F1 racing team, alongside Marcus Winkelhock and Giorgio Mondini. He tested for them at the European, French and Japanese Grand Prix. By his 3rd race, the team had been bought out by Spiker Cars. At the end of the season, he was promoted to the main driver for the 2007 season after signing a multi-year deal with Spiker MF1 team. In an interview on the official Formula 1 website, Sutil's teammate in 2007, Christian Albers, said, "Adrian is a talented driver and he'll be fast this year. As a driver, you have to push yourself to the limit without worrying about what the guy in the next car is doing. Adrian will make a great teammate, and it seems like he's going to be a big talent." And well, Sutil did prove him right. In 2007, Sutil consistently outperformed his teammate Albers in qualifying and races at every Grand Prix until Albers was replaced. Marcus Winkelhock, another German and the team's test driver, took over at the European Grand Prix. Sutil managed to qualify ahead of Winkelhock, but Winkelhock surprised everyone by leading the race after a sudden rainstorm. At the Hungarian Grand Prix, Sutil achieved a milestone for Spiker by finishing ahead of Rubens Barrichello from Honda, marking his first time beating another classified finisher that season. At this time, around things started getting rough for Sutil. In Monaco, Sutil was having a strong race in 4th place with just 6 laps to go when Kimi Räikkönen, who was in 5th, hit the back of his car. Räikkönen lost control, braking at the harbour chicane after a previous crash had brought out the safety car. This erased Sutil's lead over Räikkönen. Sutil's car got damaged at the rear, forcing him to retire. Mike Gascoigne argued that Räikkönen should be penalised, but no penalty was given. Interestingly, Sutil had passed 3 cars under yellow flags earlier. According to steward Paul Gutjahr, if Sutil had finished the race, he would have received a 25-second penalty, which would have dropped him out of the points. On October 17th, Force India announced they were keeping Sutil for the 2009 season. Both Sutil and the race team were hopeful of scoring points as the European season began after the first 4 races. In Australia, starting from 16th, Sutil moved up steadily and finished just outside the points in 9th place. In Malaysia, he qualified 19th and finished 15th before the race was halted on lap 33 because of heavy rain. Troubles started following him. In China, Sutil was doing well in 6th place with just 6 laps to go when he lost control of his Force India due to heavy rain, causing him to crash and end his race early. In Bahrain, he got a penalty for blocking Mark Webber during qualifying. Sutil personally went to Webber's room to apologise afterwards. In Spain, he ran wide on the first lap and came back onto the track, accidentally colliding with Jarno Trulli's Toyota as Trulli was rejoining as well. This incident forced both drivers to retire. In Monaco, Sutil finished 14th place and then 17th in Turkey, where he had qualified a personal best of 15th. In Germany, he took advantage of the tricky qualifying conditions and secured his best ever starting position of 7th. Unfortunately, in Hungary, he had to retire after just 2 laps due to an overheating engine caused by a water temperature issue, despite starting 17th. In Singapore, Sutil retired again after colliding with Nick Heidfeld's BMW Sauber while recovering from a spin. After the race, he was reprimanded by the stewards and fined $20,000 for causing an avoidable accident. Moving further on to his career. At his home race, Sutil achieved his best finish of the season by coming in 6th place. He used a smart strategy, making only 2 pit stops while the others made 3, which helped him gain an advantage over his competitors on the grid. In Malaysia, Sutil had to quit the race because of issues with a new wheel nut system the team had just started using that season. Then, in the Chinese Grand Prix, he got knocked out after a collision with Esteban Gutierrez. Despite these setbacks with no points, he bounced back at the Monaco Grand Prix. There, he pulled off some impressive moves, passing world champions Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button to finish a solid 5th. On December 13, 2013, it was announced that Sutil would join Sauber for the 2014 season. In the first 6 races, he struggled with a car that wasn't very fast, and he also made a few mistakes that cost him chances to score points. Later, before the 2015 Malaysian Grand Prix, Sutil became a reserve driver for Williams. This happened because Valtteri Bottas got injured during the Australian Grand Prix, and Williams wanted an experienced driver like Sutil on standby in case Bottas or Felipe Massa couldn't race, to help them secure more points in the team championship. Now, what did he do that made the F1 world shocked? After the April 11, 2011 Chinese Grand Prix, Adrian Sutil was involved in a nightclub incident in Shanghai with Eric Lux, the CEO of Genai Capital and owner of the Lotus F1 team. During the altercation, Sutil accidentally struck Lux with a champagne glass, causing a serious neck wound that required 24 stitches. Sutil apologized, insisting it was unintentional. Lux's lawyers filed a criminal complaint against Sutil for assault and grievous bodily harm. Vijay Mallya, owner of Force India, initially refrained from taking action against Sutil until legal proceedings advanced. Eventually, on September 16, 2011, Force India announced they wouldn't renew Sutil's contract for 2012, opting instead to field Nico Hülkenberg alongside Paul di Resta. German prosecutors later charged Sutil with assault, and on the 13th of January 2012, it was announced he would stand trial. He was convicted on the 31st of January 2012, receiving an 18-month suspended prison sentence and a €200,000 fine, to be donated to court-designated charities. Initially considering an appeal, Sutil later decided against it. Lewis Hamilton, a friend of Sutil's at the time, was present during the incident but did not appear in court due to team commitments. This strained their friendship, with Sutil calling Hamilton a coward for not attending court to support him. As a consequence, Sutil was without a racing seat for the entire 2012 season. What do you guys think about this? Was it a cowardly move, or was he genuinely unable to attend the court? Well, we have reached the end of the video, and at this point, you guys know the drill. Subscribe if you already haven't, and do not forget to comment telling us who you want us to cover next.